National Bolivarian Armed Forces of Venezuela strength. The National Bolivarian Armed Forces of Venezuela are controlled by the Commander-in-Chief, the President, and the Minister of Defense. In addition to the Army, Navy, and Air Force, there is also a National Guard and National Militia primarily focused on internal security. The armed forces' primary purpose is to defend Venezuelan territory from attack, combat drug trafficking, provide search and rescue capabilities, aid the civilian population in case of natural disasters protection, as well as numerous internal security assignments. As of 2018, the armed forces had 123,000 active personnel and 8,000 reservists. The armed forces is divided into 6 service branches: the Army, Navy, Air Force, National Guard, National Reserve, and the Territorial Guard. The Army, Navy, Air Force, and National Guard will serve under the Strategic Operational Command. The National Reserve and the Territorial Guard will serve under the National Reserve and Mobilization Command, since 2009 now called as the National Militia General Command. The Venezuelan Army is made up today of roughly 63,000 troops, including conscripts. Its main function is planning, implementing and monitoring terrestrial military operations in coordination with the other components of the National Armed Forces, in pursuit of the integrated national defense mission. The Venezuelan government has embarked on a massive military purchase program. This has included negotiations for German submarines and transport aircraft, several agreements with Russia, outlined below, transport aircraft and naval vessels from Spain, radars from China, homemade and designed armored light vehicles and rocket launchers, studies for Russian main battle tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, amongst many others. Most if not all European military hardware have not been delivered to Venezuela due to the US embargo. Venezuela in 2005 acquired 3 JYL-1 long-range 3D surveillance radars from China at a cost of $150 million. The 3 JYL-1s, which are truck-mounted, were all delivered by 2007. Also that year, Venezuela bought 51 military helicopters from Russia. By 2008 all 51 had been delivered to the Venezuelan Armed Forces. The helicopters acquired were 40 Mi-17, 3 Mi-26, and 8 Mi-35. Then in 2006 the country purchased 100,000 Russian AK-103 assault rifles, all delivered in that same year. Chavez also claimed to have acquired a license to manufacture Kalashnikovs in Venezuela. In 2006 Venezuela purchased 24 Su-30 Mk jet fighters also from Russia, all delivered by 2008. In order to equip those fighters the country bought a large assortment of missiles. It is estimated that Venezuela acquired 200 laser-guided bombs types KAB-500 and KAB-1500, 50 Kh-29 air-to-surface missiles, 50 Kh-31A1 anti-ship missiles, 50 Kh-59 Mi-TV guided cruise missiles, 100 Vimpelar, 27 medium-range air-to-air missiles and 150 Vimpelar, 73 short-range air-to-air missiles. In 2007, the Belarusian military optics industry agreed to supply the Venezuelan army with night vision devices, and install on, as Hugo Chavez described, every single rifle in the Venezuelan army. The deal is valued at $3 to $24 million. Later that year, Chavez announced plans to purchase of 5,000 Dragunov sniper rifles from the Russian Rosoboronexport, adding that Venezuela must ready itself for a possible US invasion. It is not clear whether that deal was completed. In all, from 2005 to 2007 Venezuela purchased more than $4.4 billion in weapons from Russia. After signing an initial contract, Venezuela was expected in June 2007 to finalize the acquisition of 5 Diesel Project 636 Kilo class submarines, and at a later date finalize the acquisition of 4 Diesel Project 677 Amor class submarines. In spite of the expectations, Chavez didn't sign the deal. 10 months later in April 2008, Venezuela decided to negotiate with Russia a loan of about $800 million for the acquisition of 4 Diesel Project 636 Kilo class submarines. During that time Venezuela was also considering the purchase of 12 Il-76 transport aircraft. The submarines plus the aircraft were going to cost a total of $1.5 billion. However, this acquisition deal wasn't completed either. The negotiations for the purchase of the submarines broke down and 6 submarines that were once planned for Venezuela are now being offered to Vietnam. In September 2008, Russia provided Venezuela with a $1 billion loan to buy Russian weapons. There is a lot of speculation about which weapons will be bought with that loan. Venezuela has shown interest on the following weapons: TOR, M1 SAM systems, T-72 tanks, Su-35 jet fighters and Il-76 military cargo aircraft. Despite of the interest in the Russian credit line, no deal has been finalized. In October 2008, Rosoboron Export informed that Venezuela was close to buying, among other things, a large shipment of BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicles. However, that deal too wasn't finalized. Also in September, Chavez confirmed that Venezuela purchased 24 K-8 Karakoram trainer jets from China. The deal, which is estimated to be worth between $72 to $84 million, was the biggest Venezuelan arms deal of 2008. On July 21, 2010, one K-8W crashed during a training flight. A statement by Venezuelan Air Force commander blamed engine failure. Both pilot and assistant ejected. Venezuela acquired an undisclosed number of SA-24 Igla-S portable surface-to-air missiles. The SA-24 Igla-S is the most advanced version built in Russia. This acquisition was only confirmed after 50 SA-24 Igla-S were paraded by soldiers in Caracas in April 2009. In reaction to the acquisition, the U.S. State Department declared, "We are concerned about Venezuelan arms purchases that exceed its needs and are therefore potentially destabilizing." In September 2009, Russia agreed to loan Venezuela over $2 billion to finance the purchase of weapons including tanks and advanced anti-aircraft missiles. It was stated that because of lower crude prices, the country needed to borrow the money for defense spending to avoid cuts in education and health. The deal includes orders for 92 T-72 tanks and the Buk M2, S-125 Neva/Pechora missile system and S-300 air defense systems, and also the BM-30 Smerch rocket artillery system. President Hugo Chavez stated that Venezuela has no plans to invade anybody, or to be aggressive towards anybody, and, with these rockets, it's going to be very difficult for foreign planes to come and bomb us. Chavez repeated Venezuela's commitment to developing nuclear power for peaceful purposes with the help of Russia and reiterated his strong opposition to nuclear weapons. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez said in 2012 that his government will buy amphibious tanks from China for its military. Chavez isn't saying how many of the armored vehicles Venezuela intends to buy, but says the deal signed Tuesday calls for a Chinese company to begin delivering the tanks next year. He announced the deal in a speech to troops, saying the $500 million cost will be financed through loans that China has offered Venezuela in exchange for oil shipments. The new armored equipment arrived in the country in 2014 and are now at the service of the Venezuelan Marine Corps. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez said he was interested in buying Sukhoi Su-35 Flanker multi-role fighter jets from Russia to enhance his country's defense capabilities. "I have already sent a statement to the government of Russia that we are ready to consider buying in the next few years Su-35 fighters to modernize and enhance our defense powers," Venezuela's national radio quoted Chavez as saying. Russia and Venezuela have signed an agreement on a $4 billion loan for the oil-rich Latin American partner to buy Russian weaponry. $2 billion will be provided next year and another $2 billion in 2013, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez said.